Hello, my divas. It is your Queen of Essex, Cheryl Hole here, and you may know me from a little show on BBC Three called RuPaul's Drag Race UK.
Who's a bad girl now?
Now, I don't know much about the news. I know the news topics, but hopefully today we get it in some Cheryl terminology.
Who's a bad girl?
It's time for this broadcaster's Maxi Challenge!
When the weatherman brings the rain.
I'm Tomasz Schafernaker, BBC weatherman, and I've covered anything from snowstorms in Scotland to a hurricane in Florida. And today I'm going to be quizzed by a mystery guest. I can't wait to see how this turns out.
The heat is on right now.
Okay.
Oh, stop it!
The carbon dioxide gets excited.
Hot hands.
No, come on, think weather.
Heat wave!
Yes! Well, the weather's been absolutely bananas lately, hasn't it? And I happen to know one or two things about the weather. So let's bring the guest in and flip the script.
Oh, hello! What's the weather today?
Oh, well, talk about frizzy hair on a day like today.
Frizzy! Don't come in with the shade already.
Oh my goodness.
How are you, mate?
I'm great. Wow, look at that.
What can I say?
You lot are always taller.
Do you want me to shatter the illusion? There we go. There we go. Back to reality. Oh, there
Oh,
goes gravity.
I love it.
How
I
are you,
love
mate?
it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, should we sit down?
Yes!
Just sit down here. Right.
Gorgeous.
So where have you come from today?
I mean, from the home turf of Essex.
Did you come all the way from Essex looking like this?
Oh, absolutely not.
So do you know why you're here today? It's something around the weather, isn't it? But it's more specific than that.
I've got a guess. Okay. Climate change and the rise in temperatures during the summer.
My words! Yes.
Here at Flip the Script, I'm in charge now. I'm driving the boat. So you've just got to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride whilst I grill you on all the questions around your specialist
So
subject.
the heat is on.
Yes, the heat is on right now.
Okay.
Oh, stop it! You're teasing me. You're teasing me. Gorgeous. Right. Obviously, your area of expertise is something that I know nothing about. So if you start talking all gobbledygook,
Okay.
I'm going to press this buzzer.
They're going to shut me up.
And you need to explain it in Cheryl terms.
Gotcha. I'll do my best. Never done this before like that.
I mean, that sounds rather familiar. Right, let's get down to business because I really have some burning questions. So here in the UK, it's very hot one minute and then very cold the next. So I want to know, what is the highest temperature that's ever been recorded in the UK?
That's easy. Very recently, 2022, it was 40.3 degrees in Lincolnshire in Coningsby.
Well, I know to avoid Lincolnshire during the summer. I'll stay in Essex.
Well,
Yes.
about the same in London, to be honest, and many other parts of the country.
What is climate change?
Okay.
Do it for me.
Okay, so you know the difference between climate and weather? Do you know the difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so weather is what we see outside of our window. So today, wet, frizzy hair, it's raining. Tomorrow, it's going to be sunny.
Yes.
Climate is what we're used to over long periods of time, over a year, over decades, over 30 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
That's climate, so it's like the average weather. When the climate changes, and say it changes suddenly, we experience weather that is not typical in our climate. So it can be either suddenly really hot or suddenly very wet. It can lead to floods and droughts.
What impacts are we seeing around the world that are so drastic?
So from climate change, we're seeing more frequent droughts, fires, flooding, hurricanes, which bring more torrential rainstorms with them. Now, we've had disasters in the past, for sure.
Of course.
And these days, with the rising temperature, these disasters are becoming more frequent, more likely. And you know, with rising temperatures, with a warming climate, these disasters will become more severe.
There's so many people that don't believe that climate change is real. And what do you have to say to those people?
Climate deniers just home into an area that they're particularly interested in, or they have some kind of agenda, and they basically say, well, you know, you're not certain, these are just computer models, we don't really know, this is all just doom and gloom, nothing is going to happen. And I think that's what we're hearing more of.
Now, a lot of people will only be very selfish and only think about their country and the climate in their country, but obviously not many people can holiday to the Arctic, but it is very important, isn't it? Like, why is it so important that we think about the ice caps melting there?
So ice in the Arctic is really important. It acts like an air conditioner for our planet, and not only is it home to lots of Arctic animal species. Well, I mean, polar bears, seals, all of that, but it also regulates weather patterns around the globe. So the Arctic's cold, and then as you go down the latitudes, it gets warmer. And then the temperature difference actually drives weather systems. And one thing that forms is the jet stream, which is a current of, I mean, you know about the jet stream.
You lost me at latitude.
I mean, we talk about it all the time on TV, literally every forecast. Do you know what a jet stream is?
An aeroplane? I don't know.
Well, it's a jet, yeah. I mean, kind of jet stream. It's like the strong winds in the atmosphere that push weather. It's like a super highway of winds that push weather systems.
How is Essex going to cope with climate change? I need to know. Am I safe?
Well, I think you will be safe.
Okay.
I mean, I think you're a survivor. You're a trooper, aren't you?
Thank you, Destiny's Child.
And I think it's going to be hot, that's for sure, in the decades to come. The sea level will be rising, but I think cities inland find it's coastal areas that are most prone to these sea level rises, to storm surges, to waves and things like that.
Okay, so I need a paddle board for my Mr. Whippy at Southend.
Yeah, it depends how close to the coast you are.
What the hell is a greenhouse effect?
So the greenhouse gases, one of which is carbon dioxide, is responsible for keeping our planet warm, it so turns out.
Okay.
So you've got carbon dioxide floating in the atmosphere. The sun warms the surface of the Earth. The heat tries to escape through the atmosphere back into space.
Into the atmosphere.
It hits the carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide gets excited because it's grabbing because it's grabbing the heat. And you know what? It doesn't want to let go of that heat. It actually holds on to it.
Who doesn't?
So, yeah. So the more carbon dioxide you have in the atmosphere, the more it's going to grab heat.
So obviously with that comes greenhouse emissions.
Yeah.
What effect does that have on the planet?
Well, the more emissions there are, the more carbon dioxide we pump into the atmosphere, the more cows fart, because they give off. You know about the cows farting and the methane?
No.
Red meat has a really big carbon footprint, and it's because of this farming on an industrial level. And the cows basically fart into the atmosphere, and all of that methane goes up in the air, and that's one of the greenhouse gases. And that's actually the cow's farts are warming our atmosphere. I know we shouldn't laugh.
I mean, we're talking about farts. We're allowed to laugh.
So the contribution to the warming isn't that enormous. Well, it is significant, but it's more the carbon dioxide from power stations that's pumped into the atmosphere. That is what warms our climate. That's where the biggest effect comes from.
Now, sometimes cheese doesn't agree with me.
Oh, right.
So, what does human pops have on the planet?
Oh my! Nobody has ever asked me that question.
Here on Flip the Script, everybody.
I mean, it must be methane. I mean, we're not that different from cows. You're not that different from a cow.
You can go off people very quickly, you know.
Oh, come on. You've obviously opened a new subject, a new area of interest.
It takes the drag queen to ask the hard-hitting questions here.
I have a few facts here, and I'll read them out to you, and you have to decide whether it's the truth or a lie. Are you ready?
Well, I'm a big fat liar, so let's see how good I am at this game.
Okay, some of them are serious. Oh, we talked about this. Cow farts are a bigger source of methane than cow belching.
Well, that's the truth, isn't it?
Actually, it's a lie because there's a difference between farts and belching, apparently.
Is belching burping?
It must be.
Okay, well then, a lie!
It's a lie.
That's what I put, lie!
You haven't got farts coming out of your mouth. I mean, can you imagine that? Next one, major snowstorms are proof that global warming is not happening everywhere.
Lie?
Correct.
Oh, good at this.
The world is now about 1.1 degrees warmer than it was in the 19th century. You're absolutely right. And remember, that's just the average around the whole planet. Different parts of the globe are warming up at different rates. So, for example, in Central Europe, it's more like 2.5 degrees by now. In the Arctic, it could be even double that.
Oh, crikey.
David Attenborough's favourite animals are monkeys.
Oh, yes?
That's true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good on you, Davey, baby.
Yeah, he loves monkeys, doesn't he? He loves gorillas as well, I think. The models used to measure, when we talk about computer models.
Oh, not Naomi Campbell then, okay.
The models used to measure climate change are random and often wrong. That is a lie. You're absolutely right.
Right, you threw me then.
They're actually-
I was like, this is a lie or it is a lie?
They are really accurate, actually. They really are.
Well, it's not something you joke about, is it?
Warmer air holds more moisture, and so, as the world warms, we expect heavier and more persistent rainfall.
I'm going to go with true.
Absolutely. That's such a big deal. That's so important, you know. As the climate warms, the rainstorms will just deliver bigger flash floods, hurricanes will produce more intense rainfall. The Earth is still in an ice age which started 2.5 million years ago. It is true, and I'm really surprised you got that.
Right.
I mean, the ice ages were a lot more dominant back then, you know, going back 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago. But we're kind of still in it. We're in the warmer bit of it. The ocean absorbs most of the heat we produce. No, you're wrong.
You are joking. Is that the first one I've actually got wrong?
You've done so well so far. So actually, yes, the oceans do absorb most of the heat. I mean, if you think about the planet, our planet is mostly covered by water.
So why is it always cold when I go into the sea but warmer when I piss in it?
Let me think. No, it depends what sea you piss in, you know.
Oh, okay.
In some oceans, you'd probably feel colder.
I mean, if it was the Red Sea, I'd probably need to go see a doctor, won't I?
You would.
So you've spoken about warmth and you've spoken a lot about rain and like warm rain, and I'm so confused because whenever I've experienced rain, it's been cold and bloody miserable. So can you explain to me one last time about this warm and wet situation, just so I can get it in my little Essex head?
The idea is about the thermodynamic properties of the atmosphere, of the air. So no, come on, try. Okay,
I'm listening.
So warm air expands. Okay, and as warm air expands, it has more opportunity for the ocean surface water to evaporate into it. Okay, so that means that warm air will, we often say, hold more moisture. It doesn't technically hold it, but there'll be more water vapor into it. So in that warm air, you're going to have lots of moisture, and then that can produce a much heavier rainstorm.
These hurricanes are only common in these tropical climates. Do you think there will come a time in our future where they will eventually migrate to, that was a good word for me, migrate to our regions here?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right in saying that they happen in the tropics, and the reason for that is because hurricanes can only form over very warm ocean waters. I mean, they have to be really warm, about 26.5, 27 degrees, the kind of Mediterranean temperatures that we don't get around the UK or off the coast of Essex. Right, we need to keep this moving, and I've got another mini challenge for you.
Another one?
Okay.
You've got to be joking.
And you have to guess this emoji challenge. You ready?
No. Okay, right, let's do this.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. What is this?
Fire hands.
Nearly, no.
Hot hands.
No, come on. Weather, think weather.
Heat wave.
Yes!
I mean,
You're absolutely right. So we're talking about severe weather.
no, stop.
okay.
You've had your fun.
Right.
I'm back in the driver's seat, so I'm going to be asking you the questions again.
Oh, you've got your cards back.
I'm flipping that script. Now, have you ever been in any extreme weather conditions? Now, my favourite is that news reporter that's outside in like a storm, and she's like, "Don't make unnecessary journeys."
Well, they're always in America, aren't they? Did you see the one with the fish flying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows that one.
Quite iconic.
Yeah, so absolutely. I've been in super heavy snow in Poland, in Gdansk, where I was born, and that actually happened at Christmas, which is crazy. Like, it was about, I don't know, more than half a metre of snow and ice storms afterwards. And then the other side of the spectrum, tropical weather, multiple times in tropical storms in Florida, and once in the middle of the eye of a hurricane near Tampa.
So
that
not
was
the eye of the
Irma.
tiger?
Not the eye of the tiger, no. The eye of the hurricane, no.
Oh, crikey. How is our weather different from a few decades ago? Because I've noticed a change. I'm a ripe old age of 29.
Right.
I'm approaching my third decade.
Yeah.
So I've noticed a change over the last couple of years, but how much has it changed, say, in the last 40, 50 years?
Now, what we're starting to see is, especially in the last 20 years or so, is that pretty much every single year is way above the average temperature that we had before pre-industrial levels. So that,
Pre-industrial, so before the factories started going out.
Yeah, before the Industrial Revolution.
Right. Now, obviously, I have an extensive wardrobe, and obviously,
You do.
I have to pack away some things for the winter and pack some things for the summer. Now, is it worth just keeping a winter coat out all year round?
Why don't you just try and keep what you have without buying anything new and trying to sort of swap things around, being creative? I mean, you've done that on the shop floor. You're good with a hot glue gun. So, try and make new outfits without... You can just start making new outfits rather than getting something new.
Now, what can normal people day to day do to make a change to climate?
So starting with the parents, changing attitudes, changing the attitude of future generations, just learning how to live in a more sustainable way, not being as wasteful, just really thinking about what we consume and how we consume it, and to try and reduce it as much as we can, not being wasteful, basically.
So is there a way that I can make the planet better by the way that I travel? What is the best way for me to travel around and get to my gigs?
Bicycle. I mean, you could do that, couldn't you? You could skateboard on those 8-inch heels. Magic carpet.
Oh my God! Where's the genie? I mean, I would love to take a magic carpet to my gigs. That would be fabulous. I'm so over the moon that we've been able to do this.
It was such good fun, wasn't it?
We're just silly, silly little babies going hee.
Have you got any takeaways from what you've learned? I mean, how's your head?
I've never had any complaints, but I will say I have actually learned a lot and really reinstilled the facts that I already knew. So the fact that climate change is a huge concern is something that has got to be in the forefront of everybody's minds going forward into future years. I think people need to realise that yes, 1 degree difference to the planet's temperature is not a huge scary number, but it is a huge scary fact. Just reuse your clothes, turn it into something more fabulous. We've got it already. Let's just keep wearing it.
Get that hot glue gun out.
Hey, don't have to ask me twice. As long as it's not a sewing machine, I'm still triggered.
Gotcha.
But I have to say, the biggest takeaway from this
Go on.
is that cow farts are ruining the planet.
They
we really need to do
certainly
that.
are. They certainly are.
So think of that before you get a Chateaubriand. Thank you very much. And more importantly, what have you taken away from today? Because you've taught me a lot. Have you learned anything?
That actually you are one smart cookie.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know. Thank you so much, my diva. What a fabulous day here.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, come to me, I can't move.
Oh, it's that corset, isn't it?
Yes, stuck. And that is Flip the Script, everybody. We've been flipping the scripts. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.